There we go. All right, we're going to continue to graph a little bit. We're going to look at graphing by X and Y intercepts today, okay? The other day we used slope-intercept form, identified a slope and a y-intercept, got that onto the graph, all right? So what are X and Y intercepts, okay? Remember that in order to graph a line, we need a minimum of 2 points, okay? 2 points make a line. Well, if we know where the line is going to cross the x-axis and the y-axis, that should provide 2 points for us, okay? Now, let me ask you this. If I were to look at any of these points along the y-axis, okay, that point right there would be the point, what would that be? That would be 0, what would that be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that'd be 0, 11. This would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this would be 0, 2. This would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 5. And this would be 6, 7, 8, 0, negative 9. Now, anywhere along that y-axis, what do you notice? What's common in all those ordered pairs? For which coordinate? The x coordinate, okay? If you look right here, every x coordinate is 0, okay? So no matter where you are on the y-axis, your x value is 0, okay? So as far as a y-intercept, that line is going to cross the y-axis when x equals 0, okay? So just kind of log that for a second, all right? And then I'm going to come back to that here in just a little bit. Likewise, anywhere along the x-axis, if I intercept the x-axis anywhere, this would be what? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This would be 8, 0. This would be 2, 3, 4. That would be 5, 0. 2, 0. Negative 3, 0. If I'm on the x-axis anywhere, what are you starting to see that's common there? So the y value is always 0, okay? All right, so this is what is really at the basis of being able to graph using x and y intercepts, okay? If I'm on an axis anywhere, whether it be an x-axis or a y-axis, one of those values is going to be 0. If I'm on the y-axis, my x value is 0. If I'm on the x-axis, my y value is 0, okay? Everybody okay with that? And that's, like I said, this is kind of at the foundation for being able to graph, and hopefully I'll show you this, and it'll be a little bit easier, but so if we're ever on the y-axis, which value is equal to 0? Your x value, okay? As we saw, if I'm on that x-axis anywhere, my y value is 0. And again, let's graph one of these, all right? And I will say this. If there is one thing that I think standard form is good for, I like standard form for this purpose right here for graphing using x and y intercepts. Other than that, I'm not a huge fan of standard form. It doesn't tell me much. Looking at standard form right there, I can't look at it and say, that's the slope, that's the y-intercept. I've got to manipulate it to get there, okay? That form isn't real helpful. It's a nice clean form, okay? It looks good. Not a whole lot of function. X and y intercepts is what I think it's good for, okay? Now, because of what I just showed you and the use of 0, what is 0 times anything? 0, okay? If you are able to plug in a 0 for something and you multiply with it, it makes things go to 0. So, down here at the bottom, graphing lines using the x and y intercept method is what I like to call the cover-up method. Okay? I call it the cover-up method. Because if I take a 0 and I put it in for x, 2 times 0 is 0, right? Oops. So if I want to know where the line is going to cross the y-axis, and remember, so if I put 0 in for x, 2 times 0 is 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cover up my x term. Because if I put 0 in there, it's going to go away anyway. I'm going to cover up 2x, and I'm going to look at what's left. Here's what I have left. 5y equals 10. How would you solve that one-step equation for y? Divide by 5. Y equals 2. Guys, that's your y-intercept. It's telling you right there that my y-intercept is going to cross the y-axis at positive 2. Okay? I'm going to cover up my x term because, again, if I'm on the y-axis anywhere, my x value is 0. That makes that term disappear. Hence, that's why I covered it up. Okay? So, if I want to find the x-intercept, I'm going to cover up my y term. Because if I multiply 5 times 0, it's going to go away. So I'm going to cover up my y term. And here's what I have left. 2x equals 10. How would I solve that? Divide by 2. X equals 5. My x-intercept is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know where the line is going to cross my y-axis. I know where it's going to cross my x-axis. Those are 2 points. 2 points make a line. I can graph that line now. Okay? Cover-up method. Now, I know you don't have a box to put over your terms or whatever. I mean, you could use your pencil, you could use your finger, just cover up a term. Cover up one term, solve for the other. Cover up the other term, solve for the other. Okay? The other thing that I want to mention about x and y intercepts, and I need you to be prepared to do this, okay? The x-intercepts are points on an axis someplace. Be prepared to list those points as ordered pairs. The y-intercept, where that line crosses the y-axis, that is at the point 0, 2. Okay? I don't have to go right or left any, so my x value is 0, and then I'm just going up 2. Hence my y value of 2. But be prepared to describe your x and y intercepts as ordered pairs. Okay? Yeah, we can say y equals 2, x equals 5. I'll know what you're saying. No big deal. Okay? But sometimes on these assessments, they may have x and y intercepts listed as ordered pairs. So I want you to be prepared to list them as ordered pairs. In this case, 0, 2, and 5, 0. Okay? What do you think? We okay with that? It's really, if you know what you're doing, it's really pretty easy. Okay? And like I said, this is the one good thing about standard form. It's in a great setup to use x and y intercepts. All right? Okay, so let's do another one. X minus 3y equals negative 6. We've got an equation that's in standard form. And guys, it doesn't matter which one you find first, okay? I'm going to cover up my negative 3y term. Let's find x first, say. So cover up your 3y. What's left? What do we got? We got x equals negative 6. X equals negative 6. It's ready. X equals negative 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I put it on the wrong axis. There you go. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry about that. There we go. X equals -6. There's my x-intercept. And again, be prepared to list that as an ordered pair. That would be -6, 0. To find the y-intercept, I'm going to cover up my x. -3y equals -6. How do we solve? Divide by -3. That's right. Y equals, let's see, -6 divided by -3, +2. Y-intercept is at +2. So that is the 0.02 if I describe that using an ordered pair. And then, of course, drop a line through there. Perfectly valid way to graph a line, okay? Yeah, I think today everything's going to work pretty nice as far as the numbers. I'd probably say that, one time where it's probably not great to use X and Y intercepts might be if you're going to start covering these things up and solving, you start getting a bunch of fractional type answers, 1/3, 1/5, stuff like that. It's kind of like, that's not going to be super nice to put on a graph. Then it might be worth looking at a different method, going back to slope-intercept form or something. But guys, if the numbers are going to work pretty nice and you've got some nice integer numbers to work with, it's pretty simple, okay? Oh, just in case you need to write that down. X minus y equals -4.
Pardon the interruption, teachers. The first group of students that were a part of the CPR training have been released and are heading back to class. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. Cover up my y. What we got? X equals -4. There it is. X equals -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. X-intercept, -4, 0. Now right here, if we cover up our X, be careful of that minus sign, okay? Be careful there. Here's what we have left. -y equals -4. Divide by -1. Okay, so just be careful there. Watch your signs. That's going to end up being +4. -4 divided by -1, +4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 4.
How do we know the difference?
I'm sorry.
How do we know the difference in when to do this and when to do that?
Pardon the interruption again, teachers. The second group for the CPR training are good to head to the gym at
There you
this
go.
time. Students, please make sure to leave your book bags and things in your classroom. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
There you go. Like I said, if this was a method you were looking at going, you know what, I think I might try to use X and Y intercepts to graph this. If you cover one of these up and all of a sudden you're discovering you're getting fractional answers, 1/3, 5/8, something like that, you'd probably go, I don't know. Might be worth trying to put it into slope-intercept form, okay? A lot of times with a little bit of practice, you'll be able to look at these, and as you start to cover them up, you'll go, hey, you know what? These numbers are pretty nice. We got a -4, we got a +4. Those are nice numbers to work with. I can get those onto an axis pretty well. Obviously today, because we're going to practice this skill, all the problems are going to work pretty nice and give you that opportunity to do that. But, like a lot of other things, it's kind of like you just trying to decide what strategy is the best for you. And you might be somebody that says, look, I'm good with slope-intercept form. I can convert anything to slope-intercept. I would rather do it that way all the time. Awesome, okay? But we're just kind of putting another tool there, all right? Giving you another option in case you want to use this option.
So you get the same answer doing slope-intercept?
Yes. You would get the same line, okay? Slope-intercept, you're still going to have a y-intercept at 4, okay? But what's going to change is that you're going to have a rise and a run from that point, so that second point's going to look different. Okay, so that's a good question. If we were to solve this for y, you'd have to move x over. You'd do that there. Divide everything by -1, so you would have y equals, what would that be, -1x plus 4. So you're still going to be at 4, and then you're going to go down. You're going to go, oh, it's a -x. If you take x over, it's going to become negative. We'd have to subtract it from both sides. So you're going to end up with -x divided by -1, which is +1x. Up 1, right 1. Up 1, right 1. You're right there on that line. So that second point's going to look different. But if you're, like I said, if you're somebody that's real comfortable with slope-intercept form and being able to convert, go with it. It's just another tool, okay? All right, last one. Let's take a look at this one, okay? And like I said, sometimes if things are in slope-intercept form, in standard form, you might go, you know what, it's in standard form. Let me take a look at this. Let's see if this would be a good option. Because if I can just cover these up and solve and it works out nice, let's go with it. And again, does not matter which one you find first. I'm going to cover up my y. So what we have is -4x equals 12. How do we solve? Divide by -4, that's right. It's a one-step solve. X equals -3. -3, 0. Be prepared to describe that x or y intercept as an ordered pair. Just be prepared, okay? Like I said, I don't care if you just put x equals -3. I'll know what you're talking about. And then if we cover up our x, -3y equals 12. How do we solve? Divide by -3. Divide by -3. Y equals what? -4. Y equals -4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is 0, -4.